سلام صلاة تدوم وتهدى إليه ممر الليالي وطول دوام. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إنا فتحنا لك فتحا مبينا ليغفر لك الله ما تقدم من ذنبك وما تأخر ويتم نعمته عليك ويهديك صراطا مستقيما وينصرك الله نصرا عزيزا. لقد جاءكم رسول من أنفسكم عزيز عليه ما عنتم حريص عليكم بالمؤمنين رؤوف رحيم. فإن تولوا فقل حسبي الله لا إله إلا هو عليه توكلت وهو رب العرش العظيم. إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الفاتحة لنا ولكم يا حاضرون، ووالدنا ووالدكم وأهالينا وأولادنا ولمشايخنا ولمن حضرنا ولمن غاب عنا ولأحيائنا ولأمواتنا وللمواظبين على هذا المجلس ولمن كان سببا في جمعنا، بأن الله الكريم ينفر القلوب ويغفر الذنوب ويستر العيوب ويحفظنا بما حفظ به الذكر وينصرنا بما نصر به الرسول، وأن الله الكريم يجعل مجلسنا هذا محاطا بالخيرات والمسرات والأنوار والبركات، ويقضي لنا جميع الحاجات بجاه خير البريات، وأن الله ينصر المسلمين.
الله الكريم
ينصر سلطان الأولياء مولانا الشيخ محمد ناظم عادل الحقاني قدس الله سره بجاه خير الأنام، وعلى كل نية صالحة مع حسن الخاتمة عند الموت بعد العمر المديد في طاعة الله وإلى حضرة النبي بسر سورة الفاتحة. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. أنت سلطاننا يا ربنا، اغفر لنا وارحمنا وتب علينا وزد حبيبك سيد الأولين والآخرين سيدنا محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم، زده يا رب عزا وشرفا ونورا وسرورا وسلطانا ورضوانا رغم الأنف الشيطان ومن تبعه. عباد الله رجال الله أغيثونا بأهل الله وكونوا عوننا في الله وسنهدى بفضل الله، ويا أقطى ويا أنجى ويا سعدات ويا أحباب وأنتم يا أولي الألباب تعالوا وانصروا لله. عباد الله رجال الله أغيثونا بأهل الله وكونوا عوننا في الله سنهدى بفضل الله. سألناكم وللزلفى رجوناكم، وفي أمر قصدناكم فشدوا أمركم لله. عباد الله رجال الله أغيثونا بأهل الله وكونوا عوننا في الله وسنهدى بفضل الله. فيا ربي بساداتي تحقق لي إشاراتي وساداتي بشاراتي ويصفو أمرنا لله. عباد الله رجال الله أغيثونا بأهل الله وكونوا عوننا في الله وسنهدى بفضل الله. بكشف الحجب عن عيني ورفع البين من بيني وصرف القلب والعين بنور الوجه يا الله. عباد الله رجال الله أغيثونا بأهل الله وكونوا عوننا في الله سنهدى بفضل الله. صلاة الله مولانا على من بالهدى جانا ومن بالحق يولانا شفي الخلق عند الله. عباد الله رجال الله أغيثونا بأهل الله وكونوا عوننا في الله سنهدى بفضل الله. مدد 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 يا سيدي مدد 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 يا رسول الله مدد يا أبو بكر الصديق مدد يا عمر فاروق مدد يا عثمان غني مدد يا إمام علي مدد 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 يا سيدي مدد 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 مدد
مدد يا رسول
الله مدد يا فاطمة الزهراء مدد يا إمام حسن مدد يا إمام حسين مدد يا سلمان فارسي مدد 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 يا سيدي مدد 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 يا رسول الله مدد يا قاسم مدد يا صادق مدد يا بسطامي مدد يا خرقاني مدد مدد مدد
يا سيدي مدد
مدد مدد مدد مدد يا رسول الله مدد يا فرمادي مدد يا حمداني مدد يا خدرو مدد يا غجدباني مدد يا غارف مدد يا فغناوي مدد 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 يا سيدي مدد 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 يا رسول الله يا مدد يا رمتاني مدد يا سماسي مدد يا أمير كولال مدد يا شاه نقشبند مدد يا غطارو مدد يا شرخي مدد 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 يا سيدي مدد 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 يا رسول الله مدد يا أحراري مدد يا زاهدي مدد يا درويشو مدد يا أمكناكي مدد يا باقي بالله مدد يا سر هندي مدد 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 يا سيدي مدد 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 يا رسول الله مدد يا معصومي مدد يا سيف الدين مدد يا بدواني مدد يا شمس الدين مدد يا دهلوي مدد يا بغدادي مدد 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 يا سيدي مدد 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 يا رسول الله مدد يا إسماعيل مدد يا خاص محمد مدد يا راغب مدد يا غموكي مدد 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 يا سيدي مدد 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 يا رسول الله مدد يا صغوري مدد يا مدني مدد يا شرف الدين مدد يا عبد الله مدد 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 يا سيدي مدد 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 يا رسول الله مدد يا شيخ ناظم مدد يا شيخ هشام مدد يا شيخ عدنان مدد يا شيخ خادم مدد 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 يا سيدي مدد 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 يا رسول الله مدد يا صاحب الوقت مدد يا فرداني مدد يا صديقون مدد يا يماني مدد يا إمام العارفين مدد يا سخابي مدد يا مرض مرحال مدد يا وطننا مدد 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 يا سيدي مدد 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 يا رسول الله مدد يا إمام مهدي مدد يا خليفة الله مدد يا إمام مهدي مدد يا خليفة الله مدد 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 يا سيدي مدد 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 يا رسول الله.
इंशाअल्लाह सीधा शाहबाद नक्शबंदी इंशाअल्लाह
صل على سيد الأصفياء صل على حجة الأولياء صل على سيد الأصفياء صل على حجة الأولياء صل على سيد الأصفياء صل على حجة الأولياء یار 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 شاه نقشبندی یار دلم بجز تو نبی هیچ کس ندوم یار 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 شاه نقشبندی یار دلم بجز تو نبی هیچ کس ندوم صل علی سید الاصفیاء صل علی حجت الاولیاء صل علی سید الاصفیاء صل علی حجت الاولیاء صل علی محمد نور حق خوش آمد شاه نقشبندی آمد جان جانم آمد صل علی محمد نور حق خوش آمد شاه نقشبندی آمد جان جانم آمد صل علی سید الاصفیاء صل علی حجت الاولیاء صل علی سید الاصفیاء صل علی حجت الاولیاء شاه نقشبند محمد شاه نقشبند محمد اویسی البخاری اویسی البخاری اویسی البخاری شاه نقشبند محمد شاه نقشبند محمد اویسی البخاری اویسی البخاری اویسی البخاری یا عزیز و یا رزاق یا عزیز و یا رزاق به حق شهبهادر نقشبندی یا عزیز و یا رزاق یا عزیز و یا رزاق به حق شهبهادر نقشبندی ربنا 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 اغفر لنا ربنا 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 اغفر لنا آتنا وجه جماله وجه جماله بحق شبهات النقشبندی بحق شبهات النقشبندی بحق شبهات النقشبندی.
हैदर हैदर अली अली मौला हैदर हैदर अली अली मौला पेज 9
हैदर हैदर अली अली मौला 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 अली हिमाय रहमत तू चायत खुदा रा कि बमसिबा फिकंदी हम साये हमारा हैदर हैदर अली अली मौला 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 दिल अगर खुदा शनासी हम दरुखे अली बिन बेअली शनाखतमंद बेखुदा कसम खुदा रा हैदर हैदर अली अली मौला 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 बेखुदा के दर्द आलम असरस फना नबाशद जो अली गिरफ्ते बाशद सच चश्मे बकारा हैदर हैदर अली अली मौला 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 بروی گدای مسکین در خانه علی زن که نگین پادشاهی دهد از کرم گدارا حیدر حیدر علی علی مولا 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 بجز علی که گوید بپسر که قاتل من جو اسیر توست اکنون بی اسیر کن مدارا حیدر حیدر علی علی مولا 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 بجز علی کی عورت پسر ابوالعجایب که علم کند به عالم شهدای کربلا را حیدر حیدر علی علی مولا 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 نه خدا توانم اشکان نه بشر توانم اشکود مطهرم چه نامم شه ملک لا فتارا حیدر حیدر علی علی مولا حیدر حیدر علی علی مولا حیدر حیدر علی علی مولا حیدر حیدر علی علی مولا. Shall I read from the Arabic one? Inshallah, page 41. Page 41.
عربي صلوات دو. النبي صلوا عليه صلوات الله عليه. النبي صلوا عليه صلوات الله عليه. وينال البركة كل من صلى عليه. وينال البركة كل من صلى عليه. النبي يا من حضر النبي خير البشر. النبي يا من حضر النبي خير البشر. من له شوق القمر والغزل سلم عليه. من له شق القمر والغزل سلم عليه. النبي صلوا عليه صلوات الله عليه. النبي صلوا عليه صلوات الله عليه. وينال البركة كل من صلى عليه. وينال البركة كل من صلى عليه. النبي ذاك العروس ذكره يحيي النفوس. النبي ذاك العروس ذكره يحيي النفوس. النصارى والمجوس أسلموا على يديه. النصارى والمجوس أسلموا على يديه. النبي صلوا عليه صلوات الله عليه. النبي صلوا عليه صلوات الله عليه. وينال البركة كل من صلى عليه. وينال البركة كل من صلى عليه. النبي ذاك الملك قوله قول فصيح. النبي ذاك الملك قوله قول فصيح. والقرآن شيء صحيح الذي أنزل عليه. والقرآن شيء صحيح الذي أنزل عليه. النبي صلوا عليه صلوات الله عليه. النبي صلوا عليه صلوات الله عليه. وينال البركة كل من صلى عليه. وينال البركة كل من صلى عليه. النبي يا حاضرين علموا علم اليقين. النبي يا حاضرين علموا علم اليقين. أن رب العالمين أفرد الصلاة عليه. أن رب العالمين أفرد الصلاة عليه. النبي صلوا عليه صلوات الله عليه. النبي صلوا عليه صلوات الله عليه. وينال البركة كل من صلى عليه. وينال البركة كل من صلى عليه. النبي المجتبى الذي نزل قباء. النبي المجتبى الذي نزل قباء. أزهر الدين والنبا كلكم صلوا عليه. أزهر الدين والنبا كلكم صلوا عليه. النبي صلوا عليه صلوات الله عليه. النبي صلوا عليه صلوات الله عليه. وينال البركة كل من صلى عليه. وينال البركة كل من صلى عليه. وامتده زوج البطول ابن عم الرسول. وامتده زوج البطول ابن عم الرسول. من أحببهم في قبول والإله يرضى عليه. من أحببهم في قبول والإله يرضى عليه. النبي صلوا عليه صلوات الله عليه. النبي صلوا عليه صلوات الله عليه. وينال البركة كل من صلى عليه. وينال البركة كل من صلى عليه. الحسن ثم الحسين للنبي قرة عين. الحسن ثم الحسين للنبي قرة عين. نورهم كالكوكبين جدهم صلوا عليه. نورهم كالكوكبين جدهم صلوا عليه. अन्नबी सल्लु अलैहि सलावतुल्लाह अलैहि अन्नबी सल्लु अलैहि सलावतुल्लाह अलैहि व यनालुल बरकत कुल्लु मन सल्ला अलैहि व यनालुल बरकत कुल्लु मन सल्ला अलैहि अबू बकर व उमर नूरुहुम यालुल कमर अबू बकर व उमर नूरुहुम यालुल कमर मन अबादहुम फी सक़र वल इला यसक़त अलैहि मन अबादहुम फी सक़र वल इला यसक़त अलैहि अन्नबी सल्लु अलैहि सलावतुल्लाह अलैहि अन्नबी सल्लु अलैहि सलावतुल्लाह अलैहि व यनालुल बरकत कुल्लु मन सल्ला अलैहि व यनालुल बरकत कुल्लु मन सल्ला अलैहि وتردد النور من ذبذ القمرين وتردى عند النورين من تزوج قمرين من ترد في خيرين والمولى يرضى عليه من ترد في خيرين والمولى يرضى عليه النبي صلوا عليه صلوات الله عليه النبي صلوا عليه صلوات الله عليه وينال البركات كل من صلى عليه وينال البركات كل من صلى عليه صل وسلم وبارك عليه وعلى آله Inshallah, P39. أحمد يا حبيبي سلام عليك 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 جئت بالقرآن سلام عليك من عند الرحمن سلام عليك جئت بالقرآن من عند الرحمن سلام عليك أحمد يا حبيبي 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 سلام عليك يا رسول الله سلام عليك يا حبيب الله سلام عليك يا رسول الله يا حبيب الله سلام عليك أحمد يا حبيبي 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 سلام عليك يا محيي القلوب سلام عليك يا ماحي الذنوب سلام عليك يا محيي القلوب يا ماحي الذنوب سلام عليك أحمد يا حبيبي 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 سلام عليك يا أبا القاسم سلام عليك يا أبا الزهراء سلام عليك يا أبا القاسم يا أبا الزهراء سلام عليك أحمد يا حبيبي 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 سلام عليك يا جد الحسن سلام عليك يا جد الحسين سلام عليك या जदल हसनी या जदल हुसैनी सलाम अलैक अहमद या हबीबी 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 सलाम अलैक।
इंशाअल्लाह उर्दू क्वाली बुक। पेज 55 इंशाअल्लाह। कमरुन 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 सिदना नबी कमरुन वजमील 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 सिदना नबी वजमील कमरुन 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 सिदना नबी कमरुन वजमील 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 सिदना नबी वजमील वकफ़ुल मुस्तफ़ा कल वर्दी नादी अल्लाह अल्लाह वइतरहु यबक़ा इज़ा मस्सत अयादी अल्लाह अल्लाह वकफ़ुल मुस्तफ़ा कल वर्दी नादी अल्लाह अल्लाह वइतरहु यबक़ा इज़ा मस्सत अयादी अल्लाह अल्लाह वअम्मन वालुहा कुल्लल इबादी वअम्मन वालुहा कुल्लल इबादी वअम्मन वालुहा कुल्लल इबादी हबीबुल्लाहि या खैरुल बराया कमरुन 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 सिदना नबी कमरुन वजमील 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 सिदना नबी वजमील वला ज़िल्लुल्लाहु बल काना नूरा अल्लाह अल्लाह तला शम्सु मिन्हु वल बुदूरा अल्लाह अल्लाह वला ज़िल्लुल्लाहु बल काना नूरा अल्लाह अल्लाह तला शम्सु मिन्हु वल बुदूरा अल्लाह अल्लाह वलम यकुनिल हुदा लौला ज़ुहूरा वलम यकुनिल हुदा लौला ज़ुहूरा वलम यकुनिल हुदा लौला ज़ुहूरा वकुल्लुल कौनि अनार बिनूरि ताहा कमरुन 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 सिदना नबी कमरुन वजमील 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 सिदना नबी वजमील कमरुन 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 सिदना नबी कमरुन वजमील 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 सिदना नबी मंजर फ़ज़ाए दहर में सारा अली का है, सारा अली का है। मंजर फ़ज़ाए दहर में सारा अली का है, सारा अली का है। मंजर फ़ज़ाए दहर में, मंजर फिजाए दहर में सारा अली का है। जिस समत देखता हूँ नजारा अली का है, नजारा अली का है। जिस समत देखता हूँ नजारा अली का है, नजारा अली का है। मरहब दो नीम है सरे मकतल पड़ा हुआ, मरहब दो नीम है सरे मकतल पड़ा हुआ। मरहब दो नीम है सर मकतल पड़ा हुआ। मरहब दो नीम है सर मकतल पड़ा हुआ। उठने का अब नहीं, उठने का अब नहीं कि ये मारा अली का है। मंजर फिजाए दहर में सारा अली का है, सारा अली का है। ऐ अर्ज़ पाक तुझको मुबारक के तेरे पास, ऐ अर्ज़ पाक तुझको मुबारक के तेरे पास। चमने नबी का चांद, चमने नबी का चांद सितारा अली का है। मंजर फिजाए दहर में सारा अली का है, सारा अली का है। तुम दखल दे रहे हो अकीदत के बाब में, तुम दखल दे रहे हो अकीदत के बाब में। देखो मुआमिला ये, देखो मुआमिला ये हमारा अली का है। मंजर फिजाए दहर में आरा अली का है, सारा अली का है। दुनिया में और कौन है अपना बजुज़ अली, दुनिया में और कौन है अपना बजुज़ अली। दुनिया में और कौन है अपना बजुज़ अली, दुनिया में और कौन है अपना बजुज़ अली। हम बेकसों को है, हम बेकसों को है तो सहारा अली का है। मंजर फिजाए दहर में सारा अली का है, सारा अली का है। तू क्या है और क्या है तेरे इल्म की बसा, तू क्या है और क्या है तेरे इल्म की बसा। तुझ पे करम नसीर, तुझ पे करम नसीर ये सारा अली का है। मंजर फिजाए दहर में सारा अली का है, सारा अली का है। मंजर फिजाए दहर में सारा अली का है, सारा अली का है।
Allahumma salli wa sallim wa barik alayhi wa ala alihi. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
How's everyone?
Alhamdulillah, Sidi. It's very low voice.
What happened? Can you hear me?
Oh, 1 second.
Is it working? Hello? I can't hear you.
Yes, yes.
Now
we can hear you, Sayyidi.
Okay, good. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Okay, let's go.
मुर्तज़ा के पेसर फातिमा के जिगर ए इमाम ज़मन तेरी क्या बात है। मुस्तफ़ा के पेसर फातिमा के जिगर ए इमाम ज़मन तेरी क्या बात है। मुस्तफ़ा ने कहा तुझको अपना बदन, मुस्तफ़ा के बदन तेरी क्या बात है। मुस्तफ़ा ने कहा तुझको अपना बदन, मुस्तफ़ा के बदन तेरी क्या बात है। तेरी मादर सी मादर किसी की नहीं, तेरे नाना सा नाना किसी का नहीं। तेरी मादर सी मादर किसी की नहीं, तेरे नाना सा नाना किसी का नहीं। तेरे भाई सा भाई किसी का नहीं, तेरे भाई सा भाई किसी का नहीं। तेरे बाबा सा बाबा किसी का नहीं। मुर्तज़ा के पेसर फातिमा के जिगर ए इमाम ज़मन तेरी क्या बात है। मुस्तफ़ा ने कहा तुझको अपना बदन, मुस्तफ़ा के बदन तेरी क्या बात है। हमने आलम का तुझको पैगंबर कहे, मेरे मौला हसन तेरी क्या बात है। जैसे कुरआन ज़माने में ला रैब है, तो भी ऐसे ज़माने में ला रैब है। मुस्तफ़ा मुर्तज़ा सैयदा फातिमा वो भी बेऐब है, तो भी बेऐब है। मुस्तफ़ा मुर्तज़ा सैयदा फातिमा वो भी बेऐब है, तो भी बेऐब है। तेरी सुलहों में मुज़मिर है हक़ की फ़ता, तेरी सुलहों में मुज़मिर है हक़ की फ़ता। इब्ने खैबर शिकल तेरी क्या बात है। मुर्तज़ा के पेसर फातिमा के जिगर ए इमाम ज़मन
तेरी क्या बात
है। मुस्तफ़ा ने कहा तुझको अपना बदन, मुस्तफ़ा के बदन तेरी क्या बात है। तेरी तख्लीक मखलूक से है जुदा, तू तहारत की झोली में नाजिल हुआ। तेरी तख्लीक मखलूक से है जुदा, तो तहारत की झोली में नाजिल हुआ। गुलशन फातिमा में तुझे देख कर, गुलशन फातिमा में तुझे देख कर हूरो गिलमान और कुदसियों ने कहा, हूरो गिलमान और कुदसियों ने कहा। बाबे ज़हरा में तुझसे बाहर आ गई, बाबे ज़हरा में तुझसे बाहर आ गई। ए बहार चमन तेरी क्या बात है। मुर्तज़ा के पेसर फातिमा के जिगर है इमाम ज़मन तेरी क्या बात है। मुस्तफ़ा ने कहा तुझको अपना बदन, मुस्तफ़ा के बदन तेरी क्या बात है। मुस्तफ़ा के बदन तेरी क्या बात है। मुस्तफ़ा के बदन तेरी क्या बात है।
Allahumma salli wa sallim wa barik alayhi wa ala alihi. Can we go to page 30? What have we done so far? Have we done page 36?
Not yet, sir.
Okay. Babaji, Babaji, Babaji.
Mashallah. खुदा का जिक्र करे जिक्र मुस्तफ़ा न करे, खुदा का जिक्र करे जिक्र मुस्तफ़ा न करे, हमारे मुंह में हो ऐसी ज़ुबान खुदा न करे, खुदा का जिक्र करे जिक्र मुस्तफ़ा न करे, खुदा का जिक्र करे जिक्र मुस्तफ़ा न करे, हमारे मुंह में हो ऐसी ज़ुबान खुदा न करे, खुदा का जिक्र कर जिक्र मुस्तफ़ा न करे। दरे रसूल पे ऐसा कभी नहीं देखा, दरे रसूल पे ऐसा कभी नहीं देखा, दरे रसूल पे ऐसा कभी नहीं देखा। कोई सवाल करे कोई सवाल करे और वो अता न करे, कोई सवाल करे और वो अता न करे, हमारे मुंह में हो ऐसी ज़ुबान खुदा न करे, खुदा का जिक्र करे जिक्र मुस्तफ़ा न करे। मदीने जाके निकलना न शहर से बाहर, मदीने जाके निकलना न शहर से बाहर, मदीने जाके निकलना न शहर से बाहर। खुदा न खास्ता खुदा न खास्ता ये जिंदगी वफा न करे, खुदा न खास्ता ये जिंदगी वफा न करे, हमारे मुंह में हो ऐसी ज़ुबान खुदा न करे, खुदा का जिक्र करे जिक्र मुस्तफ़ा न करे। नबी के कदमों पे जिस दम गुलाम का सर हो, नबी के कदमों पे जिस दम गुलाम का सर हो, नबी के कदमों पे जिस दम गुलाम का सर हो। क़ज़ा से कह दो क़ज़ा से कह दो कि एक लम्हा भी क़ज़ा न करे, क़ज़ा से कह दो कि एक लम्हा भी क़ज़ा न करे, हमारे मुंह में हो ऐसी ज़ुबान खुदा न करे, खुदा का जिक्र करे जिक्र मुस्तफ़ा न करे। असीर जिसको बना कर रखे मदीने में, असीर जिसको बना कर रखे मदीने में, असीर जिसको बना कर रखे मदीने में, तमाम उम्र रिहाई की वो दुआ न करे, तमाम उम्र रिहाई की वो दुआ न करे, हमारे मुंह में हो ऐसी ज़ुबान खुदा न करे, खुदा का जिक्र करे जिक्र मुस्तफ़ा न करे। कहा खुदा ने शफाअत की बात महशर में, कहा खुदा ने शफाअत की बात महशर में, कहा खुदा ने शफाअत की बात महशर में। मेरा हबीब करे मेरा हबीब करे कोई दूसरा न करे, मेरा हबीब करे कोई दूसरा न करे, हमारे मुंह में हो ऐसी ज़ुबान खुदा न करे, खुदा का जिक्र करे जिक्र मुस्तफ़ा न करे। शऊर नात भी हो और ज़ुबान भी हो अदीब, शऊर नात भी हो और ज़ुबान भी हो अदीब, शऊर नात भी हो और ज़ुबान भी हो अदीब। वो आदमी नहीं वो आदमी नहीं जो उनका हक अदा न करे, वो आदमी नहीं जो उनका हक अदा न करे, हमारे मुंह में हो ऐसी ज़ुबान खुदा न करे, खुदा का जिक्र करे जिक्र मुस्तफ़ा न करे, खुदा का जिक्र करे जिक्र मुस्तफ़ा न करे।
Allahumma salli wa sallim wa barik alayhi wa ala alihi. Alhamdulillah, tonight is an interactive night. For anyone who has any questions, inshallah we try our best to shed some light on that and help me at nurmuhammad.com the flow with the tariqah, so that there's a line of communication to be established, and then also to reply to the questions and how to and make the connection and advices as far as difficulties in these times of the unknown, inshaAllah. Are there any questions for tonight so far?
Yes, Sayyidi.
Huh?
Yes.
You have them? Okay, hold on, let's start then. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajeem. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Walhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Wassalatu wassalam ashrafil mursaleen Sayyidina wa Mawlana Muhammad al-Mustafa sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Bimadadikum wa nazarikum Sayyidi ya Rasul Kareem bi Habibil Azim. Wa ana abdukal ajizu da'ifu miskinu zalimu jahal. And but for the grace of Allah that we are still in existence. Alhamdulillah. Ana abdukal ajizu da'ifu miskinu zalim ya Rab. Alhamdulillah, as a reminder always for myself is that we are an energy being, and when we take out the world of faith and our practices are only to the level of what people understand of Islam, but they no longer incorporate faith and iman. And iman was about belief. Amantu billahi wa malaikati wa kutubihi, to believe in Allah, to believe in the angels, to believe in the books, to believe in destiny good and bad, and to believe in Day of Judgment means belief. And belief is not tangible as far as Islam is tangible, that you pray, you can see that you're praying, you wash and you understand that you're washing, and then you give and you go for Hajj, and those are actions that you can see. And faith are actions that are from the unseen, that your heart has to have a belief in. When belief goes and a nation is focused only on rituals and they don't remember anymore this world of light, then everything seems to be ajeeb or bizarre. The immense power of energy and our energy being, and that's important in the sunnah and everything that Allah gives to us. Everything is alive, everything has a zikr from Allah. So when Sayyidina Muhammad was fasting, and in the difficulty of fasting there are many hadiths in which Prophet would put a stone and a series of stones upon his belly, and that was to alleviate the air, to alleviate the pain, but also an immense reality that everything that Allah creates and created has a zikr, has an energy, has a reality. And it's important to remember those realities. If we don't remember the reality, then we don't understand what was happening in them. When we kiss Hajar al-Aswad is a stone from paradise, and that stone was a red ruby that represented an angel, and that angel in its however Allah wants to do His creation, that red ruby represents an angel, and that angel is to take account of all who come for the Hajj and all who make their tawaf. And there was an immense reality from paradise that Allah was sending. So we're now going to lay the theme of inanimate objects having immense realities, where people when they lose their faith they become a nation of rituals. They do certain things, they don't know why they're doing them anymore, but that's just the way their fathers did it and they're carrying on the tradition of their forefathers. But the way of faith has an immense reality. So when you're kissing Hajar al-Aswad, making tawaf around the Kaaba, Allah has a representation from paradise at that location to take account. Forget about now the reality behind the Kaaba and the souls that are inside the Kaaba, all those are teachings from malakut. Then the concept of rocks and mountains and their reality, and that every rock has a zikr. And when Allah in Holy Qur'an was describing people whose hearts are locked and darkened, He described them that your hearts are like rocks. And then Allah clarified, no, not like rocks, because rocks even waters gush forth from them, to draw our attention that the stone has an immense reality. And there are some stones in which waters and oceans will be flowing from them. Nabi Musa came upon the rock, was ordered by Allah to strike the rock, and 12 springs gushed forward for his tribes. What type of secret did that rock have? How Allah preserved water within that reality. Everything has a zikr, what that zikr is and its importance for humanity. So there's not a sickness that Allah didn't create its cure. And the tariqas, they hold to that reality, but even within the tariqah there are people whom their level of energy and malakut may not be there, and as a result they say, oh, these things are not significant. But they are significant. There are immense articles on the sunnah of the ring, on the sunnah of the different rings and the different stones and their importance. The sunnah of just the hand is of an immense reality, that if the hand is a coded creation from Allah, there are 15 lines that separate on the finger. What's the code for this 15? Why Allah made those lines? Why the hand is with a 1 and a upside down V for 8? That the right hand has a coding of 81 and 18, the other hand is the symmetry of that, there's the 8 and the 1 and this is the 1 and the 8. That why Allah made all these codings? What is the significance of the pinky finger, which has to do with a reality? What is the significance of the thumb and its reality attached to our identity? And that this index finger that is connected from the world of light, what we call the shahada finger, that when we put this finger out from the world of light that Allah has bestowed upon the reality of the souls, there's a light that emanates from this finger. When this finger is in connection with your scan of who your identity, when Allah describes, will raise them back to their very thumb, and the print within that thumb Allah will replicate insan to the degree of replicating the exact fingerprint. That why? Because every human has their own unique fingerprint, and that when this index finger touches the thumb, the light of your reality will be called forth. The light that you don't need on a daily basis, when you put this finger it's bringing out a light. When this finger scans the identity, it brings our reality and call it to be present for the physicality. The pinky finger has in spirituality the representation of knowledge. So that what represents this finger has to do with the realities of what Allah going to bestow of heavenly knowledges. This finger in which is the ring finger is the finger of allegiance, that your allegiance on what you believe in and what you're adhering to. And that was the reason why this is the sunnah finger, because this is an allegiance to Sayyidina Muhammad, that when we place the finger upon the ring upon this finger, this is our allegiance to Sayyidina Muhammad, that we take a vow, Ya Rabbi, that grant me the noble sunnah to carry this sunnah, and that my allegiance is to Sayyidina Muhammad. As a result of activating the sunnah and activating that reality has an immense importance, We say that when Allah wanted to give the kingdom to Sayyidina Sulaiman, because Allah works through cause and effect, that there's a immense importance that He wants a Prophet of Allah who's begging for a kingdom like no other kingdom, that I'm poorer than the people who come to ask help from me, and I'm surrounded by all sorts of difficulty. Ya Rabbi, grant me this kingdom that you have not granted to anyone before. Why Allah then just didn't say, okay, you have the kingdom, it's yours? Because Allah wants as cause and effect that the servant must take an action and Allah provides the reaction. inna fatanaka fatan mubina, Ya Wahhab, Ya Wahhab, Ya Wahhab, Ya Musabbibul Asbab, Ya Mufattiha Abwab. That I cause a condition for the servant that he's in need, and as a result he prays out and calls out, and Allah gives something as a reward to the servant. As a result of what Allah has bestowed upon that servant, many doors of reality opened upon Sayyidina Sulaiman salam. So means the ring, and because the ultimate messenger of Allah, and that was from the daleel of Isra wal Miraj, that Allah called all the Prophets and said, go now for your Isra into Jerusalem, all the Prophets will be gathered there to show your superiority, and that they pray behind you Sayyidina Muhammad. That's why then the sunnah, and the only sunnah, is the sunnah of Sayyidina Muhammad. That's how we know that the ring came from Prophet. If you know that the ultimate Prophet, the one with all authority, is Sayyidina Muhammad, and he told Ja'far that, I was a Rasul before Adam was between clay and water, means this station of Risalat and Nubuwwat is an eternal station. So the only sunnah for Allah is the sunnah of Sayyidina Muhammad. So when Allah wants to give this power to a Prophet, He wants him to be humbled, that I'm giving this via a ring. Allah doesn't need to have a ring, He can just say, it's yours. But He wants to humble the Prophet of Allah, so that in the heart of that servant knows that whose ring was that? Where did a ring come from that had all this immense power? You see how that now it humbles the servant? Because he wants all of these Prophets to seek out who's the real Prophet. You're just an agent. If you're getting a ring that has power to move heavens and earth, jinn and malaika, means the shaitan were under the control of the one who holds that ring. So where did this ring come from? That was the importance. The Sayyidina Sulaiman like Nabi Musa was talking, and he realized he's not talking to Allah. Let me now see you, let me see this magnificent and beatific one that I'm talking to. And Sayyidina Isa, that I don't want to die to see you, raise me and let me come back into your nation. Means every Prophet of Allah understood, and Allah by means worked to humble Sayyidina Sulaiman. Imagine if that ring has power, imagine who's the owner of that ring. That's what you should be more astonished about. So means the sunnah of Sayyidina Muhammad has an immense and majestic reality. So it means when we're energy being, we understand one, first is that with this magnificence, Ya Rabbi, grant us from the reality of the sunnah of Sayyidina Muhammad that make it a nijat and a means in which to open many doors of power, many doors of reality, many doors of safety in an unsafe time. When we believe that, then we're asking, Ya Rabbi, grant us from the authority of the sunnah of Sayyidina Muhammad. Then when they train us and teach us that everything has a zikr of Allah, and do we understand its zikr? Allah says, no one knows it but the people of tafakkur, because they're in a continuous state of contemplation and asking, Ya Rabbi, grant us from these knowledges that everything has a zikr. What's the benefit of this creation for my reality? And they understood. When the servant of Allah wears aqiq, the aqiq is a stone in which has an immense warmth. It's a zikr from Allah. So when a person is not trained in malakut, they say, oh, there's nothing that helps you but Allah. So they're using Allah against Allah, and that's where the danger of ignorance comes in Islam in the last days. Nothing helps you but Allah. What kind of a statement is that? Because Allah created everything as a help and everything as a zikr. So first thing you have to ask is, didn't Allah say that everything has a zikr? Allah doesn't create anything in waste. Allah didn't adorn this earth as an entertainment, and He didn't put the stones here as an entertainment, He didn't put the water here as an entertainment, He didn't put every single flower and every single creation, it's like an unbroken chain. You know, if you take out the smallest elements of this creation, the largest elements will die of starvation. The entire food chain of the ocean is based on the microbes at the sea, at the lowest level of the sea. Nothing is in waste. Allah's immense architectural or building of the architect of this creation is not something small that you downplay and say, no, it's a stone, don't worry about it, rely only on Allah. If Allah created that stone, it must have a zikr. And what was the purpose of that zikr and what was its reality? When the servant understands and regains their consciousness and wakes from the heedlessness of shaitan, they understand that Allah has already given us everything and it's all in the teachings of Sayyidina Muhammad. So make reference to and research, what's the sunnah of the rings? What's the sunnah and the reality that all the Imams taught? Imam Ja'far as-Sadiq entire book on the realities of the different rings and the different stones, their zikr and their reality for your being. What are the hadiths of Sayyidina Muhammad in reality to stones, rocks and their zikr. And never think that these things are, oh these are nothing and rely on Allah. It is Allah that made these. And when you love and appreciate Allah, because the seeker is one whom is continuously looking, and Allah wants us to seek and say, are you overlooking my creation? I spent a time, I spent a reality because Allah has no time, but I beautified your earth and put these beatific ornaments. Do you understand them or you just pass them by as if you're busy in life and you don't really care about anything? And that's where the badness comes and the bad character. When we stop to smell the fragrance and the beauty of what Allah has created, like our predecessors before. That's why they established so many realities. They had the ability to stop, their life slow down and say, Ya Rabbi, you created me and you created this beautiful river, and in this river I see these stones, and my goodness, you know that water has… Allah describes that I put my throne upon the water. That what type of power and might Allah's describing upon might, where mim and alif, my is a mim and an alif, and Allah said, I put my throne upon the water. So when they would look at the rivers flowing, they understood there's an immense power on this river flowing. And then you look to the river rock, was a little rock that are filling the bottom of these rivers. What type of honour Allah gave to those rocks, that all day long they're in the flowing of water that Allah described, I put my throne upon that water. What type of zikr these rocks have that keep that secret and that power of that zikr that's flowing. It's immense, immense realities all around us. So what is the firuz and the turquoise ring? What does it have that keeps away sickness, keeps away every type of difficulty? And how it absorbs the nazar of people, it calls the eye of people with an energy to pull to it, that don't look at this servant, look at me. And as a result of looking at me, your bad energy will go into the ring and not onto the servant. What Allah created of a zikr for firuz, that it has that ability to take away difficulty. What type of zikr has an aqiq that warms the heart and makes the heart with its zikr to feel the warmth and the love of Allah as a stone in which to open the reality of the heart and the softness of the heart. Even the crystals, because Allah created these. We're not talking about manufactured by human beings in places with using resin and these things. But the stones and crystals that Allah has created, they have a zikr, and their zikr are for the benefit of humanity. Some are heated and some are cool depending upon the research that one does and connecting with their heart. The rose quartz has an immense warmth, it has a very powerful zikr within it. Anyone whom trying to meditate and the dunya has distracted them and they're not able to feel the warmth within their own heart, when they meditate they should be holding a rose quartz. And by holding the rose quartz, worshipness is only for Allah, so don't send any weird emails that you're telling us is shirk and we're worshipping. We just gave this whole definition that you cannot have a shirk because it's Allah's giving that stone a zikr, this is Allah's creation. When that rose quartz has a zikr and it's a heated zikr and the servant just holds and meditates and makes a zikr of Allah and feels now the warmth that developing within their heart, and begin just to hold it, Ya Rabbi, as you gave this rock a more powerful zikr, that let that zikr of that rock to warm me and to open my realities. For everything from you is in a continuous praising and has no nafs and has no ego and has immense life force. And when we've taught about energies, we've said before that if you hold just a phone near your heart and put your hand out, anybody can push your hand down because your entire energy field is depleted by anything that is created. Because this created energy is meant to interfere with your energy field. If you hold this by your heart and put your hand and tell your friend that, push my hand down, in an instant with their finger they bring your hand depleted and destroyed by these devices. We use these for whatever Allah wants us to use them for. But this is now in the comparison that when you don't have that and you have something from Allah, even just a fruit, when an orange or an apple that has a life force from the seeds, in which Allah will make from one seed an entire tree to appear with hundreds of fruits and thousands of fruits over its lifetime. Imagine what type of qudra and power that has. And you put something from Allah, hold it on your heart and now see if anyone can move your hand. The shield and the force of the energy of that creation from Allah will support you in your energy field. And that's when Allah is giving us an understanding of, you are my chosen creation. This earth and this everything upon it is meant to be of service to you. If you're in need of energy then understand these realities. When you fortify yourself with these realities, of course they lend themselves to have an energy to build you and to dress you and to push and protect you from all sorts of negativities. And this was the way of all the pious predecessors, this was the way of all realities, but it became something lost and the people of external understanding, they diminished its importance because they lost faith. So all over the world faith was lost, and as a result everybody's practicing hollow practices. And when you try to reintroduce these realities they say, oh we don't know what you're talking about, this what is these things, and rely only on Allah. And the first question is to ask, well didn't Allah make a zikr for all this creation? The rock, it doesn't have a zikr? What is its zikr and what is its importance? You don't meditate with a lava rock because lava is coming from an immense fire of a volcano. You don't want that fire upon yourself. So everything has a reality, everything has a purpose. Now for us is to understand that purpose. As we get closer towards the end of time, more and more of the Muhammadan kingdom and all its realities become known. In a time of great sickness and difficulty, you don't think that every plant and everything that Allah has a voice where it begins to tell the servant of Allah that, this is why Allah created me, this is my danger for you if you try to eat me, and this is my benefit for you as a healing and a najat. Every creation of Allah will give its purpose, its understanding, its danger and its benefit for insan, because they're all created to serve Allah. And the greatest service of Allah is to take care of His creation and His chosen creation. Bi hurmati Muhammad al-Mustafa wa bi siri Surat al-Fatiha. InshaAllah with this article then when it comes out for the importance of the rings, the importance of energies, and also then we can put the links to many nice websites that have entire booklets on the sunnah of the ring. And anyone can Google, what is the sunnah of the ring, and many articles, and many articles from Ahlul Bayt and the 12 Imams that had in-depth understandings of the different stones. Don't get into the differences of which finger the ring should be worn on, but the reality of the stones. What was the purpose of aqiq, what was the purpose of the moonstone, what was the purpose of firuz. For tariqah the ring is the finger of allegiance. It's not the pinky and it's not the index, it's the finger of allegiance, and this is for the allegiance to Sayyidina Muhammad. He said the fingers also have a reality of the Imams and has a reality of the holy companions. This is in the reality of Sayyidina Umar Farooq, where Prophet described that if there was a Prophet to be a Prophet after me it would be Umar Farooq, because he represents Qul Ja'al Haqq, that stand for the truth and come against every falsehood. Because of the level of firmness and the fierceness of that belief that Sayyidina Umar Farooq represented, that was then the finger of allegiance. And that every finger, the holy companion Sayyidina Usman al-Qari Jami al-Qur'an al-Majid, for the compilation of knowledges and putting together the holy Qur'an, Sayyidina Umar, Sayyidina Abu Bakr as-Siddiq, where Prophet described that Sayyidina Abu Bakr as-Siddiq exceeds all the companions by what Allah has poured into the heart. And then the reality of the index finger and Imam Ali salam, and always what makes us to be human and the greatness of our creation is the thumb, and the thumb is represented by Sayyidina Muhammad, and that's why the Muhammadan reality and our eternal reality that Allah going to replicate us is then in the reality of Sayyidina Muhammad, that Muhammadan reality. And by this index finger and the thumb grants us the noble reality, because alam bil qalam. With this index and this thumb we're able to write, and this gives a magnificent station for humanity, that this creation that Allah created they can write, and as a result of being able to write the world of manifestation begins to open for them. So it means everything about us has a code and a reality. And I pray that Allah to open those realities and give us understanding and patience for those realities, inshaAllah. Bi hurmati Muhammad al-Mustafa wa basiri Surat al-Fatiha. Ameen. Did we have some questions for tonight?
Sayyid, there were a lot of questions about the ring. MashaAllah, you answered many of them.
Oh, you had questions already about the ring before we even asked them?
Lots of questions. Someone else was asking, do we remove the ring when we use the facility?
Yeah. Let's go on on the questions. It's always important, and never to not ask them, but a lot of what's being taught has an immense amount of just common sense. So when we talk about this is a sunnah, this has power, this has a nobility. Yes, anything that has power, anything that has a holiness, anything that you hold as a reverence and you revere it as something holy, don't take it to the toilet. So that means then seal it and cover it, put it into your pocket, take it off. And same with the Naqshbandi turban, that's why our turban is designed not like the other tariqas. That this is the made up turban for more formal, but our style was to have the taj and the wrap. Why? And the wrap was just as simple, you would wrap it yourself quickly, so that if you use the facility you don't go into the facility with the turban. You're talking about the crown of and the representation of Sayyidina Muhammad. Common sense is then you wouldn't be seen in a toilet wearing that crown and that nobility. So that's why it was supposed to be made as unwrappable. So you quickly unwrap it put the turban cloth aside and you go with the cone and it's preserved and your head is covered. So anything we think we're going to go into the bathroom with, if it's holy, don't go. You hide it and put it into a pocket and don't take holiness into that region. And the taweez, it's wrapped. So that's the same concept as we're saying that put the ring in a pocket, because as soon as you put it in your pocket it's wrapped and sort of not open for everyone to look at it. The taweez is already wrapped. It's designed for the bathroom. So you're wearing the taweez as a protection from going inside the bathroom for the shaitans that are there, that's when you need it the most. So that's when you wear extra taweez to go into the washroom, because that's where you're going to get attacked and a lot of sobats are going to come to you, because that's where his khutbah is standing there. Amma ba'd, and then he start teaching you and you come out with all sorts of difficulty. But it's not waterproof, the taweez.
As-salamu alaykum Sayyidi.
Walaykum salam.
I've been wanting to get an imama sharif and I wanted to ask if the Naqshbandi cone hat is necessary.
Yeah, I want to get a Naqshbandi cone.
And is it necessary, the imama sharif?
No, you can wear anything you want, but it's designed by Shaykh Nazim, and the ones that we all get is a very hard cone so that it's not flopping over. Otherwise if you try to just put your topi or your kufi that's soft, as soon as you wrap with your turban it's falling all over the place. You can wrap your head without even that. If you're like travelling or for umrah, for hajj, we just wrap it regular with a regular kufi because it's coming off all the time. But this style is meant for us to be able to lift it and put it off and take it off and wear the kufi under for washing and put the turban back on. But if you don't have access to it, then any top that you put on, and wrapping the turban and the holiness of the sunnah of Sayyidina Muhammad isn't actually wrapping and putting your turban upon the head. And then it multiplies the salah. That any time you revive a sunnah and bring out its realities, it multiplies the salah.
As-salamu alaykum, dearest Sayyidi. Forgive my lack of ignorance, but could Sayyidi expand on nafs-e-rahma? How should a beginner practice breathing, especially during meditation and daily zikr practices?
The question was nafas-e-rahma,
yeah,
and how to breathe?
Yes, for a beginner.
Yeah, for the breathing and actual steps of that, you just have to breathe and concentrate. We can't go too deep into all the different steps of the meditation, otherwise we'll be here for a couple hours just talking about the different practices. But we have, if you email us at helpme@nurmuhammad.com, we send you a link for the meditation which has the basic steps of how to make the tafakkur, how to sit and to do your breathing, and you breathe in and breathe out, be conscious of the breath, listen to some salawats or Qur'an so that you bring a power to your ears and quiet the mind. And then by zikrullah, zikruhu, that you're breathing in and out and feel the energy of and the positive light and the life force that everyone breathes in, and that see all type of bad character and darkness breathing out. That, Ya Rabbi, send this light in and every type of bad character let it to come out. And then you practice your conscious breathing and keep practicing and practicing until the breath becomes more and more energized. With every breath coming in you feel its qudra and its energy, and then that simultaneously you're connecting with the shaykhs and asking that, let the light of the shaykh to come and enter my heart. That please bring the light into my heart. And Allah is saying, ittaqullah wa kunu ma sadiqeen. Anything that Allah is asking you in Holy Qur'an, Allah doesn't care about physicality. So then what does Allah mean by, have a consciousness and keep the company of truthful servants. People think, oh, that Allah is asking us to keep the company only in the physical world. If Allah doesn't care for the physical world, then He's drawing our attention to something much more powerful than that, is that you should be with them spiritually at all times. If it's the heavenly kingdom you want and you love, then why aren't the heavenly servants all around you? Have a consciousness, means all your five senses should have been geared towards the unseen servants. That I want these shaykhs, I want their rohaniyat and their spirituality, and I want to connect with them. And I want all these senses you gave to me, my Lord, I want to use them to be with them, to be with your servants. And then you use your hearing and shut the hearing so that you can hear them and feel them in front of you, and you can begin to hear them even teaching you and talking to you. And that's what Allah's drawing importance is from malakut. Well, Allah would say only for, keep the company of pious servants only while you're on earth, or the people whom are trying to excel, they use their earthly time to make their heavenly connection. So that when they leave this earth they've already made their connection, and all the relationship that they have made of the heavenly kingdom, those are the ones who will be greeting them when they take their last breath on earth, inshaAllah.
Sayyidi, how may I make bayah? I have been practicing the awrad and this is my first khatam-e khwajgan.
Yeah, you can email us at helpme@nurmuhammad.com, and inshaAllah in the next few days we can recite again the bayat. I think every couple of weeks we recite the bayat out loud. You make intention to take the bayat, and alhamdulillah you email me and we'll also send you the words for the bayat. You recite the bayat asking, Ya Rabbi I want to be with Naqshbandiya under the sultanate of Sultan al-Awliya Shaykh Abdul Faiz al-Dagestani, Sultan al-Awliya Shaykh Muhammad Nazim Haqqani, and his representative on earth right now Mawlana Shaykh Muhammad Adil, and the big awliyaullah like Mawlana Shaykh Hisham and Shaykh Adnan, the nazar to all be upon us, and that we're intending to be under their nazar and to be in the Naqshbandiya way inshaAllah. But for you to be watching, you're already Naqshbandi. Now for your nafs to accept, that's a good step, so you can email us, recite the bayat, and then remind us in a few nights and maybe we'll recite it again. I think we did last week, so we'll recite it again in another few days inshaAllah.
Sayyidi, if it's important to know, can we absorb other people's anger?
If it's important to know?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, I think this is the whole theme of being energy beings. I was talking with somebody the other day and said that, that all of this creation are energy beings. These poor animals in the zoo, more and more aggression and more angry animals because they're energy beings. Can you imagine that all day long, and they're so super sensitive to energy, that all day long violent, angry, bad character people visiting, taunting, haunting and ridiculing these creatures. You don't think that they're absorbing all the energies of these people? And that it's shocking to people when the lion wants to go out and eat everybody in the audience, or the elephant breaks the village and said, that's enough. Allah's showing us that you're all energy beings and you're going to either give off energy and you're going to absorb energy. So that's it. That's the main reason for teaching all of this tafakkur and contemplation, because from what people see and unseen are far more dangerous. In the last days when the immensity of negative energy is everywhere, how are you combating that negative energy? What are people thinking? That they're going to go and get a shot, and as a result of that shot everything is finished? Because these are drive-through philosophy, that I don't have to do anything, I don't have to pray, I don't have to make wudu, I don't have to do anything to build my energy. I merely will drive through somewhere, they'll give me a shot and all the punishment of the earth will stop. Probably not. You just opened yourself to a different type of punishment. But the reality is that these are the signs that Allah has given, that Sayyidina Muhammad has explained. And I should be following the sunnah, I should be keeping my wudu, I should be keeping my salah, I should be doing all my practices, all my readings, everything that I possibly can. I should be meditating for an abundance of power and energy to be dressed upon me, to push away and to combat every type of negativity. And as I do all of that, then Allah to bless me and dress me, that I at least took the steps necessary, and that Allah is sufficient for the believer. But if we do nothing and say that, hasbunallah, I'm relying on Allah, Allah said, well, how come you don't hold to respect the sunnah of my most beloved? You don't cover your hair, you don't have the ring, you're not keeping wudu, you're not doing all the things that my beloved Sayyidina Muhammad came and struggled to develop upon this earth as a protection. And we do that as an ihtiram and a love for Prophet. And when you do things with love, that's why you do them. When someone doesn't want to cover, someone doesn't want to do, someone doesn't want to perform, they think that it's just, I can do what I want. It's really what it's saying is that you don't hold Sayyidina Muhammad to a very high degree. They don't care what your mouth says, but when you do what you do out of love, that you brought it, I'm going to do my best to live and die by it. As a sign of my love for you as a weak servant, I don't want to die without my beard, just so that I can greet you and say that on this earth I tried, I struggled. That you do what you do out of love and leave for Sayyidina Muhammad to reach to us and grant us forgiveness. As we said before, when your children copy you and they say they want to be like you, it's from a love, and you would do anything possible to protect them because they're showing and telling their love to you. What could be deeper and greater than thinking that I'm not doing it to be boastful, but I'm doing it for my love for you. Said, Ya Rasul Kareem, grant me a strength, grant me an honour, let me to die in a position of honour when now there people are dying and being burned and putting through every type of difficulty. Don't let me to be in that type of difficulty, grant me an honour, save me for the sake of my sunnah. So it has an immense reality. So let them to find my body with a ring upon it, let them to find me with a sunnah upon myself, and that's how that I would be raised to Allah's Divinely Presence. So we do what we do out of love and try not to use your head and say, I can shorten this, I can cut this, I can leave this. There's nothing about anything to do with that. This is about muhabbat and love. But I don't know what condition this earth is coming into, but from my love, Ya Rabbi, grant me a protection, shield me from things I can't even imagine to begin to pray for. But all I know is I'm doing what I'm doing out of love, and I know that your power is immense and your love for Sayyidina Muhammad is immense. And let that love guide me, protect me and shield me from the things I know and mostly from the things I don't know that are after me, Ya Rabbi.
Sayyidi, how to think about Jibreel in meditation?
The angelic reality of the meditation, first you have to have connected with the shaykh. So I think somebody emailed about the same thing as Sayyidina Jibreel Ruhul Qudus or what's his name. Those are nice to read about it at one level, but first level is to make the connection with the shaykhs. If you don't establish that relationship and the chain, what happens is that people become like a pharaoh and they start to say, I'm talking with Jesus Christ, I'm talking with this, I'm talking with this one and that one, and the mind has taken over their meditation and their spiritual practices. So it's more important that I'm sitting every day and I'm trying to connect with the shaykh, I'm asking for the faiz of the shaykh to enter into the heart. I feel the energies that are entering me, I'm asking to be dressed by that reality. Then I'm asking for the muhabbat and love to begin to emanate within my heart, and then I ask to be nothing. that I'm asking to be in the fana, I'm nothing, I'm nothing, I'm nothing, dress me from the light, dress me from the light. And in that nothingness they'll begin to train, and through that spiritual training then they'll begin to teach you then to read the levels of the heart. And when you read the levels of the heart you focus on the qalb, the level of the qalb, and you ask for lights and these lights to come into the heart. And that you're asking first because you're in the connection of your shaykh, you're in the fana of the shaykh, and you're asking from your shaykh that, please let us to connect with Sayyidina Jibreel and the light of Sayyidina Jibreel to enter my heart. So it has a process. If you just pick it up and say that, I just want to talk to Sayyidina Ibrahim and how do I do that, that's something different. And that you run the danger of everything you do becomes nafsani. You know, the most imitated prophet on earth right now is Sayyidina Isa. They're not connecting with Sayyidina Isa when they think they're speaking to Jesus. It's just the ego has gotten into their practices, and before you know it they start to say that they are Sayyidina Isa. They say they're Jesus and they're walking around, and that's why it's called the Dajjal and it's called the Antichrist, because there's so many anti-ones of him. And that's the danger when they teach the muraqabah and the tafakkur, is first make the connection with the shaykhs, annihilate yourself in the coordinates like a GPS. That I feel the light of the shaykh is in me, I feel that I'm going through all these testings and difficulties and I'm consistent, I have control of my anger, I have good characteristics, and I feel that I've entered in now to the fana of the shaykh. And when I'm gone and I disappear and I feel the presence of the shaykh very much present within me. He sees through my eyes, he hears through my ears, he speaks through my tongue. InshaAllah.
As-salamu alaykum Sayyidi. Is it okay to pet a dog? Is it haram? Also I'm a Muslimah and women, I don't know, oftentimes want to hug me and I don't mind, but is it safe for me energy wise?
Can we repeat that again? I didn't hear that. Is it okay to pet a dog?
And is it haram?
To be hugged by Muslimah?
Is it okay to pet a dog? Is it haram? Also I'm a Muslimah and women, I don't know, oftentimes want to hug me and I don't mind, but is it safe for me energy wise?
Oh okay, I thought that's something different. Alright. Yeah, that didn't make sense at all. So it's a woman, she wants to pet a dog, and is it okay for other women to hug a woman? And I think it's better just phrase that, is it okay for people to hug each other? And probably not. We're in the midst of a pandemic, so that's even more that Allah wants us to keep a distance. And there's an energy convergence on everyone, whether they feel depressed, they're sad, they're just mentally not well. They're energy beings, that's the whole theme of all our talks every Thursday, Friday, Saturday. As a result of energy beings, then the more that we interact with people, there's going to be now a conveyance of you're taking on burdens and they're taking on your good light. Especially if the other person doesn't practice anything and you're doing a lot of practices, they'll take your light and you'll take their burdens as an exchange. So you have to be sort of cautious of that. Family and relatives, you maybe can't not do that, so you have to do that on a family basis. But even during the pandemic it's best just to keep some sort of a distance, so that to have a protection from difficulty. As far as petting of a dog, Al-Azhar came out with a fatwa and they ruled that the dog is not haram, and that the part of the dog to avoid was the saliva, and that if it does touch you to go and whoosh inshaAllah, and to not have that saliva on you before you pray. But as far as the petting of the hair of it, then it shouldn't be something that would negate one's ability to pray. And this is from Al-Azhar, they issued their fatwa on the dog, and that it's not something haram. But there's other opinions in different madhabs. If you find it to be something questionable and you don't want to, then try to abstain from that. If you want to pet the dog, and just wash your hands before you pray.
As-salamu alaykum, Sayyidi.
Walaikum salam.
It was announced about storing food for 90 days. Is it time? Can we spread the word here in Pakistan? However, I told this to many people and they say let it come.
And who announced to store food for 90 days?
Shaykh Muhammad.
Oh, just recently?
I don't know, that's what the question is.
I don't know. If that's he issued for them to store food for 90 days, then they can go around and say that Shaykh Muhammad said to store food for 90 days. I don't know if spreading anything in Pakistan would make you to be popular because they have so many shaykhs, so many different ulama. It's best the tariqah something individual for ourselves, that if it's something I believe I have to do, I do it myself, and it's important for me just to live by what I believe. It's not my ability to propagate these types of things, that do this, do that, do these orders like this, because somebody may become frightened and buy things that they don't have the ability to afford, and then if something or nothing happens then you're going to have a lot of controversy. But if it's something you believe, then it's important for your faith to come alive and to do what you believe, inshaAllah. That's what's important. But Mawlana Shaykh Nazim's philosophy was to live your house always with food. So it's, I don't know about if you can do 90 days worth of food, but to always have your house stored with supplies. Preferably supplies that are non-perishable, canned goods, crackers, different food items that you can eat. You store a certain area, and from what you take of it you always replenish and make sure that your supplies are always there, so that your house is like a little bit of a market and has all of the essential items that you need, inshaAllah, to keep you safe. But as far as spreading, the shaykh ordered this, shaykh ordered that, and start spreading that around, you're in the land of too many shaykhs, and you'll get all sorts of difficulties back from other people that don't tell us what to do or try to question it and debate you, and if you're not versed on how to debate that then it can create a difficulty. But what you can do is take our videos and share them. Because then let me deal with the people. You send the video, if they don't like it they can contact us. But at least the teachings are right out there. Send the videos, share the links, go to Telegram, make a group, send it out to all the different groups and spread the teachings of the ones who already are teaching. But when you try to spread it yourself then you're going to have a little bit of difficulty and pressure upon yourself that maybe you're not prepared for. So it's best to always just take the link and share it, inshaAllah.
As-salamu alaykum ya Sayyidi, with all respect, I want to ask what kind of attar and bukhur can be used to get rid of negative energy?
What type of attar and bukhur can be used to get rid of negative energy? We have an article on Isfan and the power of Isfan, the wild ruh seed. It's called the wild ruh seed, R-U-E. And the bukhurs that were used for ridding and cleansing an area for energy. That the mu'min beings they like that smell, and the result of the mu'min beings coming, the virtue of them being present pushes away every type of negativity. So fragrancing the house with frankincense, with myrrh, with the different bukhurs, with the wild ruh seed which is isfan, then these are the sunnah, and these are an oud, the oud, the non-favourable entities they don't like the scent of oud. So all of those have an immense importance. And to take these ouds also, and you can put them in spray bottles, and the attars that are sold you put a little bit in a little spray bottle, you mix it up nicely and you fragrance the area so that everything has a sort of beatific fragrance and beatific smell, inshaAllah. And that any particular area that you feel something is not good, the energy is not good, or they're coming upon your being and you don't feel the energy positive upon your feet, and then you put water mixed with tea tree oil. And again, these beings don't like tea tree oil because of its fragrance and what it does to them. So you put tea tree oil in a little sprayer with water, so this much tea tree, this much water, shake it up and you spray it on certain things and you'll feel the energy of negativity is dispersed. As far as bukhurs and smokes, then the fragrances and the bukhurs, the isfand and the frankincense, myrrh, oud, inshaAllah, all the traditional religious fragrances. And none of the sage and none of the rosemary, none of these Indian things. They all have incantations upon them that bring very bad spirits. The spiritual world lives within these fragrances. So everything has to be from Islamic sources, never from Indian sources. They have incantations into their incense sticks and into their products. That Sai Baba was a big shaitan. So anybody who were buying those things, they were putting incantations into those products and distributing around the world. And anyone from spiritual teaching understand those beings hide within those, and when the person ignites them it's a ceremonial sort of bringing of them, and when they come they're very difficult to get rid of. So everything with us alhamdulillah is from a halal source, that to get from the Islamic sources and Islamic fragrances, and definitely not from them, their temples and all their insignia upon that, inshaAllah.
Sayyidi, what is the reality of Rabita Sharif?
The noble connection. What is the reality of the Rabita Sharif is the noble connection. And there's articles on our website, and the Nur Muhammad is an immense like encyclopedia of spirituality. And you go to the search engine and you just type in the words that you want, you type in Rabita and you get the articles on the madad. And the Rabita Sharif is the noble connection. How to connect with this golden chain is then the madad, and on the app it has the recitation for the madad. So you get the app and recite the madad on a daily basis. Every time you recite it, it's like you're hitting the chain that goes all the way into the heavens of these shaykhs, that you're calling their name and you're asking for support. And that support then is their nazar, that they say, oh, a student is calling my name and my nazar upon them, my soul's gaze upon you, and from what Allah gave to me I dress you and give you. And then making the muraqabah on how to make your connection and connect your heart so that you can gain the faiz of that chain. That if you're connecting with the shaykh who's teaching you, he's the link that links you to an entire chain. So they send him out, and whom connect, he's connecting them to that entire chain, because that faiz is already coming through him and going out. So that's what keeps the shaykhs protected, is their rabita and their connection with the chain. So imagine like a deep sea diver, and everybody of this dunya is on the bottom of the ocean. So when the shaykhs send out representatives and certified representatives of the reality of Sayyidina Muhammad, they're all safe in the heavens. So they're the people on the boat on the top of the ocean. So as a result they throw that one into the water, but because he's connected with the tube to breathe and to be supported, he walks the bottom of the ocean picking up all the people and dealing with them. And through that faiz and through that power that reaching to him, he's able to do that work, otherwise he wouldn't be at the bottom of the ocean doing all those things. So that's one way of us to visualize that the shaykhs are at the top and they're sending support, sending the knowledges, sending the realities to gather all of these people whom are dispersed. They're at the bottom of the ocean because they're not alive, they're actually dead to this dunya. And they're coming down to revive people and lift them up and remind them of the heavenly kingdom that lies above this ocean of this dunya.
Sayyidi, can women wear these zikr rings also, and can we wear more than one?
Yeah, for the sunnah for the women can be different. They can wear the zikr rings, they can wear the rings for protection, but the sunnah of the teaching of the stone is still the same. So when they wear the firuz and the turquoise and they try to wear the turquoise jewellery or necklace, it has an immense healing, has an immense power for nazar and protection from the bad energy that affects us in everything. The reason things don't get accomplished, the reason that we have difficulty, the reason we have all sorts of sicknesses and ailments is enmity and envy. So when Prophet is teaching that if you wear this stone, it has a zikr and a reality that Allah has given it its reality, then it has an immense protection. If it takes away the nazar, you may feel yourself more energized to accomplish what you have to accomplish. The nazar of people is so powerful that people don't understand it. They don't know why they're getting sick all the time. They don't know why they're not feeling good or they're feeling down or their eyes are red and they have headaches. So we are energy beings until we understand the depth of our reality and what Allah has given to us of tools. Our wudu, our salah, the sunnah of wearing all these things, a covering of the head. These are all an armour in which for us to deal with each other and deal on this earth. You armour yourself and fortify yourself as a spiritual warrior so that you can go on this earth, you can deal with people, not be affected by people, you do your work and accomplish what you have to accomplish in life. But when people leave all of those, leave their understanding of energy and then they're just like, I don't know why I feel sick all the time, I have a headache, my eyes are all red and I don't feel like I want to do anything. InshaAllah.
Sayyidi, how to keep the way of gratitude and being thankful in the times of severe testing and difficulties?
How to keep the way of gratitude and to show ourselves to be thankful in the time of severe difficulties. I think we talked, it was last week, that was the talk on gratitude and that was the understanding that we show gratitude in everything that we do and don't be silent. Don't sit and be silent and watch a video and not say thank you, not say hello, not give a thumbs up and just this world then just kind of passes us. Allah wants us to show our thankfulness, wants us to have shukr. Because the opposite of shukr is to be nashukr, to be not thankful. Then Allah says, he's not even thankful, whatever he's learning, whatever he's being taught, whatever I give him, everything will carry through to that servant to be a non-thankful servant. So I don't know if anyone has children and that's why having a family and having children was half our religion. Because whatever my relationship with Allah, I will see that in my relationship with my children. And I can understand Allah's position to a degree by interacting with my children. If all day long I give my children everything they ask for, here you go, 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 not one thank you. And then not even a thank you at the end, then to even come against and this was that, this was horrible, this was rotten, you did this again, it's like this. Then you say, okay I know how to punish you and then I'm not going to give you anything for a week. And then we understand, oh my gosh, that this is this interaction I have with my children, am I doing this with my Lord? And that's when the servant to be understanding that what I'm asking from my children, why I'm not doing it for Allah. All these parents that their children don't listen to me, my children don't listen to me, my children are rude to me. I ask them to come back and say that, have you listened to everything that Allah asked you? No, I don't pray. So why were you expecting that your children would listen to you but you didn't listen to anything from Allah? Because our life is very reflective. So at least the purpose of family was for us to get a sense and understanding, oh my gosh, how I'm dealing with my family and with my children, what I want from them and what I would expect from them and the gratitude that I would expect from them. I should be first doing that always to my Lord. thank you for what I have, thank you for this knowledge you gave, thank you for this money you gave, thank you for the food you gave, thank you for the people in my life, thank you for everything, and thank you for all the bad you kept away. Because you don't know what kind of storm is really heading towards people that Allah kept away with Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. We only saw some of the things that got through, but the greater part of the iceberg Allah has kept away that would have obliterated our lives and all that is dear to us. But with Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim Allah kept everything away. So our life is a continuous shukr, 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 Ya Rabbi, that if I'm not shukr enough, that forgive me and put into my heart to be conscious of everything, Ya Rabbi, so that I show my thankfulness to you and have pity upon me and mercy to be addressed upon me, inshaAllah. And little steps, it's the little things in life that have the greatest reality, not the big things. The detail is in the little things in life that we should be very thankful and make sure that all those little things are done, because we don't know what Allah will grant from these little actions. People think, well I pray and Allah's happy with me. No, Imam Ghazali was praying all his life, trying to reach all realities all his life, and thinking, well it's not really happening, I'm not feeling what these other shaykhs are talking about, I'm not feeling these things. And it was Milad al-Nabi, it was the 9th of the Mawlid al-Nabi, but before that he had a great amount of doubt that how come things are not opening, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, I'm doing this. And for Mawlid al-Nabi Allah sent him a fly. And at that time there was an inkwell where you would write from, not a fountain pen, it was an inkwell, you had to dip it and then write and dip it. And as he was about to dip his pen, a fly came and began to start to drink from the ink. And he said, that you're an amazing creation of Allah and I'm a creation of Allah, and for the sake of Mawlid al-Nabi he thought to his heart, I won't disturb this fly. And he let the fly to take his drink and take his fill before he put his pen. As soon as the fly finished and went and he went to put his pen, he said, this action that you did today was very dear to Allah, and everything that you had asked from Allah will now be opened upon your heart. And he says from that point on his heart opened and flourished with all its realities. So it means Allah is looking, for the greatest sign are the small ones, because they show the true character of somebody, not lining up only for salah, everybody's watching you to pray, that's maybe you had to do that. But what you carry of your real character that nobody sees, and it's the small actions that you sort of dot your I's and you cross your T's, and those are just between you and Allah. He finds those to be very dear, and those are the actions that open the reality for many awliya. And there's another story of a wali who was going for Hajj, wasn't a wali yet but a pious servant. He's walking and doing many good things and walking and going all the way for his Hajj and accepting and hoping that Allah's going to accept his Hajj. He came across a well and put his bucket down and began to drink the water, making his zikr, and a dog came. And the dog looked like it had been famished in the desert and was in serious need of water. And that servant of Allah looked at the dog and felt the sorrow of this creature is going to die without water. He put the bucket immediately down and began to give water to the dog. And that was before the thinking that the dog, who cares for a dog, what's the importance of a dog, and this is a man going to go see Allah. And again as soon as he gave the water to the dog, a voice that came into his heart that this action made all your Hajj to be accepted, because Allah saw the sincerity of your character and the goodness of your character, that when nobody's around you felt a sadness and a pity for this creature. So this is tariqah's teaching. It's the small actions that Allah is at a continuous state of vigilance to see if that character is really of the nature that Allah wants before He opens His heavenly kingdom upon their heart, inshaAllah. InshaAllah bi hurmati Muhammad al-Mustafa wa bi siri Surat al-Fatiha. Shafat ya Rasul Kareem. Amin ya Rabbal Alameen. Inshallah b'niyat Khatm Khawjagan, we have the Khatm Khawjagan now. Inshallah. إلى شرف النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم وصحبه الكرام وغلى مشايخنا في طريقة النقشبندية العالية. ماتت سيدي رسول الكريم, asking to always see ourselves in the presence of Rosa Sharif, in the presence of Sayyidina Muhammad صلى الله عليه وسلم, بمددكم ونازلكم مدد يا سيدي سلطان الأولياء من شيخ عبد الفايز الداغستاني, شيخ محمد ناظم حقاني, من شيخ الشام كباني, شيخ عدنان كباني, شيخ محمد عادل, عبد الخالق الخجتواني, صاحب زمان سيدنا محمد المهدي عليه السلام, وروح الله سيدنا عيسى عليه السلام, سيف الله سيدنا عليه السلام, ثم سبق الصديق سيدنا عمر, سيدنا عثمان, إمام الحسن السلام, إمام حسين السلام, سيدنا فاطمة الزهراء السلام, وسائر ساداتنا والصديقين. الفاتحة. الشفاعة يا رسول الكريم. آمين. إن شاء الله بالنيات ختم خوجكان. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله, أشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله,
أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله, أشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله, أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله, أشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. أستغفر الله 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 الذي والذي لا إله إلا هو الحي القيوم وأتوب إليه إنه هو التواب الرحيم من كل ذنب ومعصية من كل ما يخالف دين الإسلام من كل ما يخالف الشريعة من كل ما يخالف الطريقة من كل ما يخالف المعرفة من كل ما يخالف الحقيقة من كل ما يخالف العظيم يا أرحم الراحمين يا الله. اللهم يا مسبب الأسباب يا مفتح الأبواب يا مقلب القلوب والأبصار يا دليل المتحيرين يا غياث المستغيثين يا حي يا قيوم يا ذو الجلال والإكرام. وأفوض أمري إلى الله إن الله بصير بالعباد.
Rabit al-Sharif, inshallah, asking to see herself with Rosa Sharif in the presence of Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. بمددكم ونازلكم سيدي يا رسول الكريم يا حبيب العظيم. آمين يا رب.
سورة الفاتحة. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين
المستقيم اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. صلوات اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد وسلم. 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 سورة الانشراح. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ألم نشرح لك صدرك ووضعنا عنك وزرك الذي أنقض ظهرك ورفعنا لك ذكرك فإن مع العسر يسرا إن مع العسر يسرا فإذا فرغت فانصب وإلى ربك فارغب. الله أكبر. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ألم نشرح لك صدرك ووضعنا عنك وزرك الذي أنقض ظهرك ورفعنا لك ذكرك فإن مع العسر يسرا إن مع العسر يسرا فإذا فرغت فانصب وإلى ربك فارغب. الله أكبر. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ألم نشرح لك صدرك ووضعنا عنك وزرك الذي أنقض ظهرك ورفعنا لك ذكرك فإن مع العسر يسرا إن مع العسر يسرا فإذا فرغت فانصب وإلى ربك فارغب. الله أكبر. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ألم نشرح لك صدرك ووضعنا عنك وزرك الذي أنقض ظهرك ورفعنا لك ذكرك فإن مع العسر يسرا إن مع العسر يسرا فإذا فرغت فانصب وإلى ربك فارغب. الله أكبر. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ألم نشرح لك صدرك ووضعنا عنك وزرك الذي أنقض ظهرك ورفعنا لك ذكرك فإن مع العسر يسرا إن مع العسر يسرا فإذا فرغت فانصب وإلى ربك فارغب. الله أكبر. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ألم نشرح لك صدرك ووضعنا عنك وزرك الذي أنقض ظهرك ورفعنا لك ذكرك فإن مع العسر يسرا إن مع العسر يسرا فإذا فرغت فانصب إلى ربك فارغب. الله أكبر. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ألم نشرح لك صدرك ووضعنا عنك وزرك الذي أنقض ظهرك ورفعنا لك ذكرك فإن مع العسر يسرا إن مع العسر يسرا فإذا فرغت فانصب إلى ربك فارغب. الله أكبر. سورة الإخلاص. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد. الله أكبر. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد. الله أكبر. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد. الله أكبر. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد. الله أكبر. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد. الله أكبر. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد. الله أكبر. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد.
أحد الله أكبر بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم
قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد
لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد الله أكبر بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد الله أكبر بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد الله أكبر بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد الله أكبر سورة الفاتحة بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم
الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين
إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين صلوات اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد وسلم 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 اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد وسلم
صل يا ربي وسلم جميع أنبيائه والمرسلين وكل أجمعين والحمد لله رب العالمين. إلى شرف النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم وعلى أصحابه الكرام وعلى مشايخنا في طريقة النقشبندية العالية، خاصة روح إمام طريقة غوث خليفة شان نقشبند محمد ويسع البخاري، سلطان أولياء الشيخ عبد الفيز الداغستاني، سلطان الشيخ محمد ناظم هذا الحكاني، مولانا الشيخ هشام كباني، الشيخ عدنان كباني، الشيخ محمد عادل، معبد الخالق الخشدواني، صاحب زمان سيد محمد المهدي عليه السلام، وروح الله سيدنا عيسى عليه السلام، سيف الله سيدنا عليه السلام، ثم سبك الصديق سيدنا عمر، سيدنا عثمان، إمام الحسن عليه السلام، إمام الحسين عليه السلام، وسيداتنا فاطمة عليه الصلاة والسلام، وسائر ساداتنا والصديقين. الفاتحة. الشفاعة يا رسول الكريم جنة المبارك. آمين يا رب.
فاعلم أنه لا إله إلا الله 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 لا إله إلا لا إله إلا الله 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 محمد رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم لا إله إلا الله محمد رسول الله عليه صلوات الله لا إله إلا الله محمد رسول الله عليه صلوات الله لا إله إلا الله محمد حبيب الله عليه صلوات الله لا إله إلا الله محمد حبيب الله عليه صلوات الله لا إله إلا الله محمد خليل الله عليه صلوات الله لا إله إلا الله محمد خليل الله عليه صلوات الله لا إله إلا الله محمد شفي الله عليه صلوات الله لا إله إلا الله محمد شفي الله عليه صلوات الله لا إله إلا الله محمد نبي الله عليه صلوات الله لا إله إلا الله محمد نبي الله عليه صلوات الله لا إله إلا الله محمد نجي الله عليه صلوات الله لا إله إلا الله محمد نجي الله عليه صلوات الله لا إله إلا الله محمد حفي الله عليه صلوات الله لا إله إلا الله محمد شفي الله عليه صلوات الله والسلام عليه الله 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 حسبنا الله ونعم الوكيل نعم المولى ونعم النصير ولا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم. حسبنا الله ونعم الوكيل نعم المولى ونعم النصير ولا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم. حق حق حسبنا الله ونعم الوكيل نعم المولى ونعم النصير ولا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم. حي حسبنا الله ونعم الوكيل نعم المولى ونعم النصير ولا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم. الله الله حق 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 الله الله حي 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 الله حي يا قيوم 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 حسبنا الله ونعم الوكيل نعم المولى ونعم النصير ولا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم يا هو يا هو يا دائم يا هو يا هو يا دائم يا هو يا هو يا دائم الله يا هو يا دائم الله يا هو يا دائم يا دائم يا دائم يا دائم يا الله يا حليم يا حليم يا حليم يا الله يا حفيظ يا حفيظ يا حفيظ يا الله يا لطيف يا لطيف يا لطيف يا الله يا غفار يا غفار يا غفار يا الله يا ستار يا ستار يا ستار يا الله يا فتاح يا فتاح يا فتاح يا الله يا مجيب يا مجيب يا مجيب يا الله يا معيز يا معيز يا معيز يا الله يا معين يا معين يا معين يا الله يا بدود يا بدود يا بدود يا الله يا رحمن يا رحمن يا رحمن يا الله يا رحيم يا رحيم يا رحيم يا الله يا حنان يا حنان يا حنان يا الله يا منان يا منان يا منان يا الله يا ديان يا ديان يا ديان يا الله يا سبحان يا سبحان يا سبحان يا الله يا سلطان يا سلطان يا سلطان يا الله يا أمان يا أمان يا أمان يا الله يا الله يا الله يا الله يا الله أنت الله أنت الله أنت الله يا الله هو الله هو الله هو الله يا الله هو الله هو الله هو الله يا الله حسبنا الله ونعم الوكيل نعم المولى ونعم النصير ولا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم 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 الرحيم حسبنا الله ونعم الوكيل نعم المولى ونعم النصير ولا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم حسبنا الله ربنا الله 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 حسبنا الله ونعم الوكيل نعم المولى ونعم النصير ولا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم يا غالبا غير مغلوب 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 يا شاهدا غير مغيب يا شاهدا غير مغيب يا شاهدا غير مغيب يا قاربا غير بعيد يا قاربا غير بعيد يا قاربا غير بعيد يا غالبا غير مغلوب يا غالبا غير مغلوب يا غالبا غير مغلوب صلوات اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد وسلم 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 اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد وسلم
حسبنا الله ونعم الوكيل نعم المولى ونعم النصير لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم على أشرف العالمين سيدنا محمد صلوات على أفضل العالمين سيدنا محمد صلوات على من العالمين سيدنا محمد صلوات صلوات الله تعالى وملائكته والأنبياء والرسل وجميع خلقه على محمد وعلى آل محمد عليه السلام ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته. رضي الله تبارك وتعالى عن سادتنا أصحاب رسول الله أجمعين وللتابعين بإحسان وأئمة المجتهدين الماضين والعلماء المتقين والأولياء الصالحين ومشايخنا في طريقة النقشبندية العالية نسأل الله تعالى من تزكية نسأل الله تعالى تتفهم الله تعالى من بركاتهم وفيداتهم دائما. الحمد لله رب العالمين. محمد المصطفى وبسير سورة الفاتحة.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إلى شرف النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم وعلى أصحابه الكرام ومشايخنا في طريقة النقشبندية العالية خاصة إلى روحيان الطريقة غطى خليفة خواجة شان نقشبند محمد ويس البخاري وسلطان الأولياء الشيخ عبد الله فايز الداغستاني وسلطان الأولياء الشيخ محمد ناظم عادل الحقاني ومننا الشيخ هشام كباني الشيخ عدنان كباني الشيخ محمد عادل مولانا عبد الخالق الوجدواني صاحب الزمان سيدنا محمد المهدي عليه السلام روح الله سيدنا عيسى عليه السلام سيف الله سيدنا علي عليه السلام ثم سيدنا أبو بكر الصديق سيدنا عمر سيدنا عثمان إمام الحسن عليه السلام إمام الحسين عليه السلام سيدنا فاطمة عليه السلام وسائر السادات والصديقين.
الفاتحة. Mubarak to everyone out there, to everyone at the office, everyone who's supporting, and all the online supporters, translators, transcribers, compilers, editors, producers, listeners, to everyone. Allah bless you and to beatific lights of Jummah and prepare us for the lights of the blessed birth of Sayyidatuna Fatimah Zahra salam. That Allah bless us with the love of Sayyidina Muhammad. Bless you and give me the love of Muhammad and Mustafa the Surah al-Fatiha. Thank you everyone. See everyone tomorrow night inshaAllah.
Thank you Sayyidi.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum. Assalamu alaikum.